listen up. Jesus is on the air. Thank you so much for joining us today. So the opening song that we were just playing, it was a group of men singing, and they were pretty much praying to God and asking God to help them. And, they were saying, you know, here I am, God, and this is what I'm going through. And I just wanted to let you know that God hears us when we call to Him. He's always listening to us. He's always there for us. So that's a great reminder. As we also, our topics for today, we're going to be mentioning about Lent and the different ways that the church celebrates this season, and how we can get closer to God and prepare for Easter. And one of the ways is prayer, through prayer, sacrifice, and almsgiving. So we're going to dive into those a little bit deeper, but I have some great news today. If you wanted to call or text in, we have this great book that I would be giving for free. No shipping and handling, no extra costs. It's called The 4 Signs of a Dynamic Catholic by Matthew Kelly. And if you call or text in today, the first person will receive this book for free. And so on the back it says, what 4 things did Mother Teresa, St. Francis of Assisi, St. John Paul II, St. Therese of Lisieux, and St. Ignatius of Loyola have in common? And they all practice these 4 signs that Matthew Kelly discusses in this book. It's a great book. Matthew Kelly is a very dynamic speaker. You could listen to him on Lighthouse Catholic Media CDs. He talks about Catholicism and how to be truly happy and how to live God's plan for you. Also included in this book, I have a CD, The 7 Pillars of Catholic Spirituality, that will also be included with this book. So we encourage you to text in, to call in today. It's really exciting. The call-in number is 631-888-8811, or the text-in number is 516-784-6081. We'd love to hear from you, how the show is going, and you could also receive this great gift during Lent that will help you along in your faith journey as well. So again, the call-in number is 631-888-8811, and the text-in number is 516-784-6081. Okay, so I'd like to introduce our other guests for today. We have Joe England.
Good to be here to help out.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing today? Everything good?
Good, everything good. You know, sometimes things happen last minute, and another guest was supposed to come today, but she couldn't make it, and sometimes
it's
things
all right.
happen.
Things happen, yeah. Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff happens, yeah.
You get busy.
Yeah, you get busy.
But it's good to be here, and we're going to talk about Lent today, right?
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, we're going to talk
about
Lent.
It's going quick, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Easter is April 1st.
I know, I can't believe it. It's already, this month's already halfway over, almost.
Yeah. So we also have Amanda here today, who's helping film a little bit, and she's going to join us a little bit later today.
Hi.
Yes, good morning. So wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about Lent and dive in a little bit with what that is. So the church teaches that it's sacrificing, prayer, and almsgiving. And what does that really mean? And the sacrificing part is, I think, giving up a little bit of your time, or just making those little sacrifices to God to help those who are in need. So a great person to think of is St. Therese of Lisieux, how she helped God in little ways. So that's one thing about sacrificing, is just helping in small ways. So Amanda, I know you mentioned that you sacrifice by helping your teacher out a little bit during school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just mention briefly how how you help her, just pretty much by with the paperwork, right?
Yeah, I help grade some tests.
Wow, you're grading tests. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy. You just get the answer key, and then if they get it right, you put a check. If you get it wrong, you put an X. Then at the end, you score it out of how many questions there is, and on the bottom you put how many questions, and at the top you put how many they got right, and then you just divide the top number by the bottom number, and that's their score.
So that's really great because you're sacrificing a little bit of your time and you're helping somebody else in need. So that little small thing helps her a lot with the work that she has to do. So that's really great. That's really awesome.
We do also take a lot of tests, and there's a lot of papers flying everywhere. So it's
You help
actually
organize a little
helpful.
bit the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention that is definitely a great way to help. Like being St. Therese of Lisieux. And what about you, Joe? I guess with sacrificing
recently actually I had my first child, so sacrificing for my wife and helping her out with the baby when I come home from work, and just doing stuff around the house, just being emotionally there for her, and just helping everyday people, people at work you work with, you help them, you try to be kind. And the job that I work at, I speak with patients a lot too, so just trying to help them and be kind to them, and just control your emotions and just showing love for people. There's the simple ways you could help people during life. There's a lot of stuff you could do.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing because you're right. There's such small things, but really, that you're helping your wife out, helping patients just by listening to what they're going through.
Exactly.
Really can make a difference in their day.
Yeah.
They just put a smile on. It's just so nice when you just see somebody and you just automatically have a smile. It's just so nice to see, people that people, that care for you. But even, if they're going through a rough time, that's when we need to be there for them. So,
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, that's amazing. So yeah, definitely sacrifice. And I was reading a little bit of an article that also mentions about it. It's interesting. The title is called "Mother Knows Best: 6 Timeless Lessons for Lent," and it's kind of like six themes that we normally hear our mothers say to us. And one of them says, "Offer it up," and then. A little bit, I just wanted to read a little bit about it. It says, "Believe it or not, this is not Catholic code for get over it. It is a call to practice the daily habit of self-sacrifice, a prerequisite for sainthood. Sainthood, after all, consists in perfect conformity to the will of God. On the whole, it is much smarter to prefer God's will over one's own, so you would think that choosing it would not be all that hard. But fallen human beings are not always known for our smarts. In our sin, we show a persistent preference for our own will. Overcoming that preference requires 2 things, grace and practice. The grace part is mostly up to God. And then the practicing is, this is interesting. Every day we have about 1,436 opportunities to deny ourselves.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. I wonder how we came up with that.
I don't know.
That's a lot. A lot of little ways to deny ourselves throughout the day.
I guess when you get frustrated, a lot of those 1,000 and plus is, I guess, times where you get mad, or you get agitated, or you get sad, or just frustrated at something. And I guess those are little tests that test you for 1,000 times each day.
And it's also hard to get out of bed, so that's one of the
decisions.
That's one of that's one of the decisions of starting your day, getting out of bed.
Don't worry, when you get older, it's still hard to get out of bed, especially for work.
Yeah.
That's the first.
That's the first decision.
Getting out of bed.
Getting out of bed is half the battle.
Then it's breakfast.
Then it's breakfast.
Because once you get started with me, once I get the day going, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's getting out of bed and getting the day started.
Me too.
But that could be another lesson for Lent, to teach us to go through the day and to show another thing, laziness too, not to be lazy, because God doesn't want us to be lazy either.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah, definitely. I didn't even think of that. Thanks for mentioning about those things against So I guess the sacrificing and the denying ourselves helps against the laziness, because when we're lazy, we kind of just want to, be like do things comfortably, or like especially
Stay in bed.
or enjoy staying in bed or enjoying comfort food.
Exactly.
That's a big one too. So sometimes, we sacrifice chocolate or something
Right.
during Lent.
Right, as humans, it's human nature to want to find the easy way out in everything and to find the easiest method.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just our human nature, but God gives us the strength to overcome that.
Yeah, for sure. God gives us the strength always, and we always need to call on Him for strength. And I was just thinking, if part of the sacrificing food for Lent, or whatever it is that you sacrifice, it's good to take that second to think about God, and to ask God to come into that space, into that void that you're missing that item, or you're missing that pleasure, or whatever it is, and to offer it up, I guess, as the article said. And maybe there's somebody in your life that could really need that little prayer, or that little sacrifice or offering, and we really don't know how much that's helping them. So that's something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Are you guys giving up anything for Lent, or have you?
I picked this year soda because I love soda, and I try to not drink too much of it anymore in general, but that's what I picked for Lent this year. And it's hard for me because even though I try not to drink it as much anymore, I still love it. That's why I thought it was a good thing to pick.
Oh, great. Yeah. So for each day of Lent, like, you're doing it for the whole duration.
Yeah, I'm trying. I haven't drank soda since it started at Lent, so hopefully I can
Since
keep
last
it up.
month. Yeah. Well, that's great. A little bit at a time.
I
that's.
think you can do it.
I think I could do it.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah, I think you can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, we'll support Joe, and yes, we all support each other with our prayers, and just we think you could do it too.
What did you pick, Caterina?
So I picked something a little different. I did so another one of the topics for Lent is the almsgiving. So
Right.
I wanted to practice more generosity and giving, and I feel that God has blessed me with so many great things in my life that I wanted to give a little bit more financially to certain organizations that need it. And there's so many that are in need. I gave a little bit to a food pantry.
Okay.
I donated to the Red Cross. So little charities here and there, to the church a little bit more, the Catholic Ministries Appeal. So I feel good about doing it. Oh, we have a baby bottle campaign that's all across.
They have all the churches.
Yeah,
This is
all
the
across
time of
Long
year,
Island. Yeah.
When they do that.
So that pretty much it helps mothers who have their first child but need support, or if they're not married.
Right, they need financial support. If they're on their own trying to raise a baby, which you give them a lot of credit. So,
Yeah.
And they need help,
Yeah, so I've just been trying to put my loose change in there.
That's good, yeah.
So those, going back to the theme of just, little things here and there to help out during Lent. So that's, almsgiving is giving up of our time and whatever financially we could do. Kind of stretching. I think that also goes along with the theme that we were mentioning, like denying ourselves. When we give, then we don't have it anymore. So sometimes it's like, I don't want to give it.
When you give it up and you start living without it, you realize it's not so bad. And life's not so bad. And you realize that, why did I want this thing so much? And you actually get more out of it when you give up stuff and actually help people. In the end, you end up being happier. I noticed that. Because you're out meeting people, talking to people, doing stuff. And I think the human psyche, when you're active in doing stuff, that's when you're most happy.
Right, yeah.
And when you're helping people. And until you do it, people don't realize how actually fun it is to actually help people. Because then you're meeting new people, and I'm the type of person that likes to meet people and talk to people and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's benefiting you a lot more than the other person, even though it helps the other person also.
Yeah, and we don't realize it, I think sometimes we just kind of get distracted by the society
or you're right. It does say in the gospel as well that Jesus said, whoever helps the least of my brothers and sisters, you did it for me. So it's like, God is saying, like, keep up the good work. That's good. So yeah, let's keep going a little bit. Actually, let's see. I wanted to remind our listeners if they wanted to call in or text in. Yeah, there's the free book.
Right,
I just wanted.
Merrick waiting for you. Come on,
And Merrick.
Yeah, in our new station.
Yeah,
great
you
new
get to see the brand spanking new station. It's all good.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's all nice and bright. So the call-in number is 631-888-8811, and the text-in number is 516-784-6081. And I'll actually write a little something inside of it. It just came to mind. I'll write a little something for the person. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you how the show is going, and for your Lent, this book will be a great gift for somebody else or just for yourself. It's a great tool. So let's discuss this little quote that I heard Pope Francis say the other day. Pope Francis said, "How different would the world be if we checked our Bible as much as we did our phones, our telephones, like our cell phones?"
Yes, and just technology in general, right?
Yeah. So that's really interesting. Let's talk about that. What do you think Pope Francis is trying to tell us here, and what can we do?
Well, I think what he was saying is that technology is not bad, first of all. So that's the premise that it's set up with. But what he's saying is that, like everything else, it's in quantity. So too much of anything is not good. But we should be checking the Bible, and if we truly believe in our faith, trying to get closer to God and take back some of that electronics and the cell phone. It's not good to check it all the time, because then you become obsessed with it. And he's just saying, have a different perspective. You actually will be much happier when you're not obsessing over technology, and when you use technology in certain things to make you happy, but ultimately God will make you happy. And you actually enjoy the technology more when you do it not every second of every day, especially checking the phones and Facebook and all that. You kind of messes with your psyche when you're checking that all the time, because you're not just being in the moment and living your life, and you're opening yourself up to feeling bad about yourself and all that stuff. So that's what Pope Francis is kind of talking about, especially during Lent, to give more time, because it's a special time of year, and to give more time for that and not check the technology, because the technology will be there, just like God will always be there, but which one's more important too? That's what he's trying to say, especially if you truly believe in the Catholic faith or Christianity, or God in general.
Wow, that's amazing. You said a lot of great stuff. I love it. I would agree that the technology is a great tool, but sometimes it could be a distraction too, right? If we check it a lot or
obsess over it. Yeah, I think, like what Pope Francis said, he's calling us to reflect a little bit more this Lent on the Bible, like certain verses, and to prepare for Easter. So a great suggestion would be to, maybe in the morning or during our lunch break from work, or during any break that you have, just to take the daily gospel and just to read it, and just even if you don't have that much time that second to reflect, maybe when you're driving home, to reflect a little bit on it. It would be like, oh, that was a really interesting story, or I forgot about that. What is Jesus trying to tell me, or how does this relate to my life? Or I know that, it will help you tremendously, little by little, just understanding the Gospels and just how everything falls into place in Jesus' life, and how he wants us to live, and especially for Lent, like you said, a time of prayer, and also denying ourselves too. The theme is coming back, because if we, like you said, we're kind of almost obsessed or addicted to it. So if we kind of restrain ourselves a little bit, we don't want to, because it's hard, but it's going to bring good benefits later. And like you said, the
if Sally had lunch, Sally's yesterday's her lunch from yesterday will still be on her posts from
Yeah, who cares? Right?
I mean,
that's all fine. You're happy for
it's
other
good.
people, but you got to live your life too, right?
Yeah.
So if you're,
it'll still be waiting,
right.
like you said, after
Right.
Lent.
You got to be in the moment, right?
But yeah, no, living in the moment for sure, and yeah, the social media, like denying ourselves a little bit, and just having that quiet time with yourself and God too is important. The social media is good because it connects us with one another,
Mm-hmm.
but also if we think about early on, like Jesus, after he was baptized, went into the desert for 40 days by himself. So we think to ourselves, okay, that's also a model for Lent as well. So we need to take those little opportunities to kind of be by ourselves and with God.
And to think about, like you said, about your life up to that point, and you can reflect on what happened so far. That's what Lent is, right? To actually kind of reflect. That's when Jesus went in the desert, you're kind of reflecting on your life and what you did, and you take a look at everything positive and negative, right? You just reflect of all the good memories and the bad memories, and you're just like, what am I doing up to this point? And that's what Lent is kind of in a way, right? You're just reflecting on your life, and you look back with a smile on all the good things and all the stuff that happened, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, and you're
going in the future.
Yeah, you're looking with hope towards the
thing
future, right? Yeah. I didn't think about that, but that's a great way to approach it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I found also too, in general, which also is a human nature thing, but that also has to do with faith, is that when you don't do things a lot, like obsess over stuff, it actually makes it when you do it better. I found growing up when I was little that when stuff was only once in a while done and it was special, it made that thing more fun. When you do something over and over again, it takes away from the specialness of it. So when you're denying yourself, and for Lent, a certain food, or if you don't eat fast food or whatever, or anything, I found that when you don't do something in a while, it's human nature to enjoy it more.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, because
So
there's
that kind of goes
that lapse, like
right.
Yeah,
and that's what he's talking about too, is that things are better if you don't obsess over it.
Like you'll enjoy the stuff that's on your phone
when you're anticipating something more. That's our human nature. When we anticipate something that we're looking forward to, then we enjoy it more. Because we take things for granted if it's all the time.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So that's another thing that goes back to probably the beginning, how humans always were, and goes back, and it kind of goes with Lent of us giving up something. Yeah,
definitely. I wanted to share a little book, so thank you so much. Thank you for listening. So yeah, let's discuss that. Amanda
On the air, and we're all listening in, and I'm here. I'm Caterina Viti, and I'm here with Joe.
Hello,
and yes, with Joe and my sister Amanda.
Hi.
And we're just having a great conversation about Lent and how we could prepare through God's grace for the season of Easter, which is next month. So again, if you wanted to call in or text in, the text-in number is 516-784-6081, and the call-in number is 516-623-1240. Again, it's 516-623-1240. Great. So we're actually just before discussing our favorite Bible verses. And then now I just wanted to mention about the saint, Saint Therese of Lisieux, who I think she fits in really great with our conversation today, helping in little ways, and how she would do little things that agitated her. She would give up, she would offer to God the little things that agitated her, or the little sufferings of her life for the good, for the God's...
Right, to offer it up for the good of others, or for the good of God, actually, to help others.
To help others, right. And it was funny that I have this book here, and one of the quotes says, Therese changed from being a spoiled child to
Oh my.
to a spoiled child to a
Oh, wow.
humble and obedient nun. So she was the baby of the family, and stories tell that she was a little spoiled and wanted her way. But then at the age of 15, she entered the Carmelite. She entered and became a Carmelite nun, and through her daily tasks that the nuns asked her to do, she became more humble and more obedient to God's will. So Therese learned to accept humble tasks such as weeding the garden. So the little things in life that we don't want to do, or we don't understand why it has to get done, or like the little things, like Joe was mentioning during the break.
Yes, during the break.
Yeah.
I was actually, it made me think of like the movie Karate Kid that I grew up in the 80s. So when Daniel goes and Mr. Miyagi's teaching him, he's telling him to wash the car and buff the car and do all these little tasks, painting up and down with the strokes. And he's like, why am I doing this? And he got all agitated and mad. But he didn't realize, just like St. Therese, that he was trying to break him down and show him the simple tasks to humble him and break him down, because he wouldn't have been able to learn the martial arts, or in this case, St. Therese being a nun or even being a priest, and it had to be broken down to train him to have, or her to have the mental thoughts to have faith and to have discipline. And that's what he was teaching them. And it's kind of the same thing with when you're parents. You're like, your kid goes, why are you making me do this and all that? And you don't realize till you grow up that your parents are doing that to make you stronger and disciplined. And you actually, if you have good parents, appreciate that when you get older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it helps you. Yeah, for sure.
It makes you stronger.
Yeah, I liked that analogy, because all the little tasks that he did, he didn't realize,
Right.
but it was helping him to become the Karate
Exactly,
Kid leader,
right, to learn the martial arts,
and to learn
right.
and to fight and to use those techniques that
In a peaceful way.
in a peaceful
almost
way.
Like meditating, almost like praying, the same thing. St. Therese, right.
Yeah. So it's great to remember that these tasks and these skills are not only just for priests and nuns. We can apply these in our daily lives as well, and we could be saints too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yes.
you don't
Especially
have
when you're parents too. But
When
all
you're
of us can.
Mhm.
But, yeah.
There's more opportunities when you're a parent to be a saint.
But everybody can. You don't have to be a parent, right?
Yeah. You know, our daily sacrifices, giving them up to God, for sure. So Amanda, I know Saint Therese is one of your favorite saints, right?
Yeah.
Can you mention briefly why?
My mom really liked her, and then I just started liking her.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And just because she's just a great role model for the family, right? Mm-hmm.
And plus, she loved roses, and my roses are my favorite flower.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another thing. You know that Saint Therese is praying for you because she promised to send roses from heaven. So if you receive roses, it's a sign that she's praying for you. And we're not supposed to just believe in signs, but it's nice to think and just to know that all the saints are praying for us, and not only when we receive signs, but they're always praying for us and watching over us. So.
What's your favorite saint, Tiffany?
Oh, wow. I'm learning so many with this radio show, but I don't know. I think I think some of my favorite saints would have to be the strong female saints, I guess, like Saint Catherine of Siena, probably Saint Joan of Arc, also the women saints who did God's work in smaller ways, not as overt, such as maybe Saint Cecilia, Saint Barbara, martyrs for the faith, Saint Maria Goretti. So those would probably be, they lived out their life doing God's will in big ways and small ways. So thanks for asking. That I had to think about that for a second.
Who's
Yeah.
your favorite saint, Joe?
I can't really think of one now, but I was just thinking about for a second. I know there was a saint with the Native Americans, right?
Oh
Do you
yeah,
know
Saint Caterina.
I remember we went
Yes.
to Washington to the main church there by the Catholic University.
Oh, the Basilica of the Immaculate
and there was
Conception.
a statue of her that they just recently put up when we went downstairs, and they have all the statues of
Yeah,
saints.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And
Mhm.
I thought of her because that must have been really hard, knowing that, you know, she went through a lot of hardship, and the American Indians believed in other stuff, which is beautiful also. And she went through probably a lot.
Oh yeah,
So she
yeah.
must have been very strong. So I was just thinking of that.
Thanks for reminding us about her. She's a great saint also. Yeah, yeah. She had to sacrifice. She had to go against her family because they were a different religion. And I think I don't know if she was a princess or if she was higher up in the clan, and she had to
Or
in the
yeah.
tribe, and she had to like lower herself and be humble
Mhm.
to accept a lower position
It's like
in the Catholic faith, you know. And
it's like she was rich, but she had to become poor.
yeah,
Yes.
She
exactly.
wanted to become poor.
Yeah, and I don't remember if she became a martyr. I'm not sure if she.
What's a
If-
Yeah,
martyr?
I'm not sure. I know she probably recently became a saint,
Mhm,
right? She was
mhm.
one of them, probably more recent ones, but
Yeah,
so that's what
we
I
could
thought
take a
of,
look.
I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
What's a
Thanks.
What's a martyr?
So that's a great question. A martyr is someone who is killed because they believe in Jesus, in the Christian faith.
That's
So
just
some-
sad.
And
Yeah.
essentially what happens
Mhm.
is the person that becomes the martyr in the situation, somebody is asking them, either in ancient times, maybe with the Egyptians, is telling them, we'll let you go and be free just as long as you renounce the faith in Jesus Christ or God itself. And that person's not willing to do that and actually gives up their freedom, and that's when they become a martyr, essentially, because the person is offering to set them free and not kill them, but they're knowing that they could die is still saying that that's great, I hear your offer, but I'm not going to take it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that
It's
and
like
it's,
a business deal.
Eh,
Sort
Huh.
of.
well,
Do you think
so
it's
essentially they're giving up their life.
yes,
They're giving up.
which is the most precious thing that God
Yeah.
gives us, right?
Yeah, so that's the ultimate thing. So that's the ultimate sign that the person loves God and
Yes.
wants to do His will is
Because
that.
the easy way out is you could just say, yes, I accept it,
Mhm.
and go
yeah,
along with
yeah.
whatever time period in history you're living in.
Yeah, but that person actually believes, and doesn't follow through with what somebody else is trying to impose on that person.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and that reminded me actually, there's a great movie coming out. That I want our listeners to know about to check it out. It's called Paul. Apostle of, I believe it's called Paul, Apostle of Jesus Christ, a message for the modern age, and it's all about the story of Paul, and the actors are acting out his story, and pretty much the director wanted our listeners to know about the persecuted church and to pray, and to know that it's still going on today, to illustrate Paul's life, but to also call us to action as well. And it's a really great way to dive into the character of Paul in the Bible. It's really exciting. It looks really good. You could check out. There's trailers on YouTube, and it's coming out on March 23rd. So in about 2 weeks,
And that's
or a
not
little.
that far off.
Yeah. So check it out if you can. It's really great. And
Is it a live action movie or is it like an animation movie?
it's a live action movie. Yeah. So
And it's actually going
actors
to come out at the movies.
at the movies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That should be fun.
it's definitely a fun thing to do for sure. And
Do you
to
know the rating?
no, but I'm sure it's
it's not,
amazing.
yes.
Yeah.
It should be.
Yeah, it should be. So yeah, I wanted to mention about another saint